Very flattered someone asked me to do this. It wasn't Tim Ferriss, though.
A better you starts today.
Yeah, no, it was one of my Legends of Jordan Shanks. You should sign up today where you get a bonus to, possibly very soon, 3 extra videos a week if you like this content. This will just be a Q&A answering question, so you probably won't like this one. This is not the best opportunity for me to advertise the wares there, but we do have additional videos that will improve your life. I'm telling you right now, it is the cheapest life coach you will ever receive, and you will get this premium membership exclusive deal, which is that sometimes I actually read the comments over there. And sometimes I read the comments of these ones and start fights with people. But yeah, I don't start fights with these people because they're nice. How nice is this, by the way? Greg Hanny. Go, Greg. That's a nice classic Aussie name. Good on you. You sound like you should be running a fish and chip shop, and I hope that that is your dream and that it is fulfilled. I'm sure that you would have deep fried Mars bars at your fish and chip shop that I'm assuming would be in central Queensland. But Greg, thanks so much for asking me these, man. That's so nice of you that you would, because I'm quite a big fan of Tim Ferriss's work. I highly recommend that you read Tools of Titans, but he was reading one of his more recent books. What was it called? I was reading that one. Tribe of Mentors. Tribe of Mentors is that he just asks all of this. It's a very lazy book, I've got to say, but still, there was some gems in it, like it always is. It's just him asking all these experts in their field to disperse just a few of their selected morsels, sprinkle it over the top, and then he makes millions of dollars out of it from people like me that are just like, I'll pay it anyway. And one of them is that he just asks these 11 questions over and over again to people, and yeah, who'd have guessed people that are good at their field have good answers. So, as the most prominent Australian YouTuber that has a second self-help channel, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one, maybe Spaniard has one, and I highly recommend that you hoodus the subscription on that if he does. I mean, come on! You're gonna learn some things on the street that you cannot learn in books. But anyway, here's the questions. The first one is, what book or books have you given most as a gift and why? I think we all know the answer to that. Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins. That is the Old Testament, and like the Jews, I'm a bigger fan of it than the sequel. I do like Awake at the Giant Within, obviously. It is my second favorite book of all time. It really is just like your choice between Terminator 1 and 2. No one is going to get snarky about you for choosing one. But there will be disagreements, and I hope that they will be cordial. Unlimited Power was the book that changed my life. You've heard the story 1,000 times, but before all of this, I always thought self-help was snake oil salesman, like all of the idiots in the comments. Now, still think that, and I don't think that anymore because of that book. That book changed my life, and it is radical how many people have changed their life as a result of reading that book. The people that have actually read Unlimited Power, every last one of them, and I'm talking about, now it's longer than a 10-year trajectory, but even at the 10-year mark, when I was talking to people that did read Unlimited Power, not only did they read Awake at the Giant Within and increase Tony Robbins' sales, which he wholeheartedly deserves, I'm not even being ironic when I say that, okay? There's no irony for my love of him. And yes, it is that book that shifted the way that I looked at the world and realized, no, it is filled with unbound opportunity if you look for it. If you train your mind to focus on where you want to go, as opposed to what your mind is always focusing on, which is, my room's messy, nothing I can do about it, it's the government's fault. When you start training it of, no, there's actually a lot I can do about a dirty room. There's a lot I can do about it, which is going to be one of the answers that I have before it. But once you have that, when you start looking for opportunity and possibility, when you start building on that, my God, how much your life shifts in the span of 10 years. And on just a psychological level, the day-to-day, how much more enriched your life is as it just keeps flooding more and more with possibility. And it's all just about training and conditioning your mind to focus on that. Because who'd have guessed what you're looking at in life is what you're going to get more of. So I'm always recommending that people read that book. That's the Bible of self-help. That is a man that has condensed thousands of years of wisdom and then packaged it with a nice 80s aesthetic, which I've obviously stolen. People are always saying that I'm a Kmart Tony Robbins, and I'd like to say, hey, I'm not good enough to be a Kmart Tony Robbins, okay? But the second one is, What purchase? Yeah, see? What purchase did you get for $100 or less in the last 6 months? And allow me to demonstrate. I mean, as if these weren't Danos directly enough, but the new Hoover sweeper, steamer that is, how silly of me, sorry about that, but the versatility on the head down here, as opposed to the fact that, look at this, you can very easily take this top off right here. Got to say, the people on a 2 a.m. television at 7, mate, are doing it a lot better than me. Look, it's connected together at the moment because obviously the cord's in, all right? But anyway, the point is that you can turn it into just, not just sweeping your floors, but you can also your bathrooms. That, this is sad to admit, has changed my life dramatically. Why? I'm always looking for little things that you can do where you can A, multitask, and B, those things that you are multitasking are improving your life at the same time. So, the dirtiness of a room. As I was just saying, actually, in one of the podcast update things, but I'll just give you a little, so I'm not going to go into the depths of it, but you're going to have to sign up for that if you want to hear me advertise a steam mop more. But one of the things that is just phenomenal about this is it gives you a nice break from whatever you're doing. 5 minutes, you've cleaned your bathroom, you feel good for cleaning your bathroom's clean, and on top of that, environmentally friendly. What's cleaner than steam, I say? Huh? That's why they shouldn't have banned vapes. But that's what I'm doing. You're just vaping your bathroom, and it feels so good not having that really scary disinfectant smell. And on top of that, I don't know, it's just fun to do, so you feel like doing it as well. And I swear to God, it has changed my life immensely. My house is just so much cleaner as a result of just getting a cordless vacuum, because I just realized the biggest chore of vacuuming is just putting in the cord. That is the only reason that my carpets were always messy, and now they're not. Now they're just lint-free, because I just made that one little decision. But those little tasks just switch up in the day, and then you just disperse them throughout the day so that you are getting your cleaning done. You feel happier being in a house that is just permanently clean all the time. You don't have to hire a cleaner. It was under $100 because it was on special. It's probably more expensive now. So I guess that question's null void, and we will move on to the third one. Awfully sorry about that. The third one is, how has a failure or apparent failure set you up for later success? Do you have a favorite failure of yours? Yes, I do. Let me bring you back to the year of, I can't remember. Anyway, I applied for AFTR's radio course because I was in my politics degree. I was disaffected by it, and I just realized, oh, people must hear Friendly Geordie's voice. I didn't have that name back then, but I knew that it was coming. And so I went over to apply for AFTR's, passed the first part with flying colours, and then they said, yeah, go into the studio now. And I had flunked and lied my way over to the top and was like, I have heaps of experience in regional radio in, what's a town you've never heard of again? Let me just look that up on Google Maps. Bundalong. Yeah, Bundalong. I was like the breakfast guy there. So anyway, I was doing really well on that. Came up with all these skits. They were all happy with that. And then they said, back announce Britney Spears. And they were like, hey, you only said Britney Spears 3 times in that 30-second ad break. You're not a pro. You're not going to have an illustrious career of being a daytime announcer in Newcastle. My God, I am glad that I got kicked out of that and, let's be honest, cried in front of my dad. And it was very embarrassing because my dad was kind of just like, what a wimp. It was pathetic. But I was devastated about it, and then I continued on with my politics degree, and now I think that it was probably for the better that I did, even though I learned absolutely nothing from it. The only thing that I did learn from, as I've said before, was when I went over to Korea, and because it was in Korea, the dean didn't know what he was saying because he was speaking in English, and he was teaching people how politics really works. That was, I hate this phrase, but actually my political awakening. Shout out Mr. Maguire, who definitely is not watching this. That little tweak, because this is all I'm saying, right? This is a real key concept of self-help. How many key concepts are there? Man, how many key concepts there are? My metaphorical janitor's key thing would be like, damn keys, which one's the primary school one? But something that I think is really important is, when you have a goal in mind, it doesn't matter what obstacles are in your way. The obstacles kind of just start are morphing into themselves. You know, like one of those monsters that just keeps absorbing things and getting bigger, and then the souls that it keeps sucking up, that just makes it more powerful. That's obstacles in your life. Yeah? So when you have the goal and then you have to go sidetrack and work in a video store for 5 years because those things still definitely exist. Hey, this Netflix thing is a fad. Yeah? But any of those moments in life, as long as you have the trajectory of I've got my goal, like when you, this is what I feel so, I think that you did have vape shops and now they're banned, but those bullshit jobs where you really didn't have to do anything and you just sat there and studied the whole time. That's what I'm saying. When you have a goal, you're just always thinking of ways that you can move towards it despite the things that are happening in your life. So I was able to use the fact that I did actually learn something from my degree. And then I started making comedy skits around that. And now I've combined both of those things. And I'm doing something that is of great societal benefit and combining my love of just being a fat loudmouth. Minus the fatness, because I'm also into self-help. 4. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, metaphorically speaking, getting a message out to millions or billions, what would it say and why? It could be a few words or a paragraph. I think it might just be the message of this self-help channel. And hear me now. I think it's this. Self-help is not a scam. Self-help is a spell book. Self-help is a spell book that enchants you into believing it's BS. It is just about hypnotizing you into going towards your goals, feeling pleasure about the setbacks and failures, seeing the setbacks and failures as, I know this is very hoarded, but lessons, and draining from those lessons and having this mindset that it was all put there as a reason so that you actually are able to move forward with a psychology of the inverted paranoid, as Brian Tracy would say. The person that thinks that all the good and bad things that are happening to them are happening to them for a good reason. In the end, it is about giving you that mindset so that no matter what happens in your life, I mean, think about this, right? When my house burned down from, I'm not going to tell you who, but what happened after that immediately? What was my immediate thought? Oh, great. I can take some time off in witness protection and do my stand-up show. That's all I thought about it. It's just, no matter what lemons go your way, you can turn them into lemonade. And if you have that mindset deep within you, even when something like that setback happens, all you are thinking is, and this is a key concept, I want you to, another key concept, write it down. How can I use this? Everything that you are ever hurled at. In fact, I might even put that on the billboard. How can I use this? I think it's just read self-help. That's the one. But no matter what happens to you in your life, you are always thinking about what is a way to turn this into a win. That's what self-help does. It brainwashes you into thinking that. Isn't that important? I think it is. If you don't think it is, that's all right. 5. What is one of the best, most worthwhile investments you've made? Oh yeah, silver, definitely. Yeah, that was the one. I bought silver at the peak because on bloody whatever that Kramer show was of the finance guy, he was just like, I'm telling you, silver's been going up for the last 3 weeks and it'll keep going like this, I'm assuming, for the next 10 years. And I was like, wow, I'd be stupid not to buy it. So I spent all of my life savings on buying bars of silver. Not even gold. Such an idiot. So that is my best investment. That is my only investment, really. I'm a terrible finance. Don't take any financial advice from me ever. But in terms of just investments, and this is something that actually my accountant says as well, everybody that I actually respect, and I do highly respect that man, by the way, he's one of those guys that was like, I was in the Soviet Union and I played the cello so well, but then I had to run for my life and this is the only job I could have. So he's this real creative in a very boxy environment. So he's an amazing guy. But he was always saying the same thing. He was saying that out of all of his clients, no matter what investments they put in, the ones that, and this is all that self-help's about, invested in themselves, or were constantly thinking of how to upskill, were constantly thinking of how to specialize in their field more, were constantly thinking about how they could expand in their field, those are the ones that move forward. Because really, what is going to be working harder for you? Microsoft shares, maybe, if you bought them in the 90s. But failing that, that's what all self-help is. It's just investing in yourself. Every hour that you spend on it, every hour that you spend in a seminar, even if you're just getting reminded of things that you already know, it is an investment because it's just this thing of like, yeah, but I haven't been practicing it. You keep moving forward. And that's something that other people don't have, that they keep moving forward when a lot of other people just give up or they get distracted. You're still moving forward while the vast majority are sitting there watching Netflix. What is an unusual habit or an absurd thing you love? In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has improved your life? That's a really good question. I don't know, because I think I've always just trying to get so many habits instilled. God, I can't really identify one. This whole channel is just about habits. This whole channel is just a bunch of habits that you should be stacking amongst themselves that start compounding into each other and reaping even better rewards. It's just hybrid flowers that you're constantly breeding until all of a sudden, hey, these orchids used to grow in Singapore and now they grow in Tasmania. I can't answer it. This channel, that's the answer. What advice would you give a smart, driven college student about to enter the real world, and what advice should they ignore? First off, I'd say that you probably wasted your time at college. The second one is, probably. And the second one is, I would say that this is probably the most important thing that you could definitely get. And this actually is the only good thing about going to college, I suppose, is that you find like-minded people that are driven, see your vision, and you can all move towards it as a team because, and you will notice this about life very quickly once you go out into the real world, you are not good at everything, but other people are good at one thing. And when you contribute and combine those powers together, you move up as a team. And you want to be around those people that share a similar goal. And when you do, magical things happen. When all of you kind of are on the same page and you have the same values, you can keep moving up together and you keep winning together. You can't do it all by yourself. And the more that you kind of just surrender to that and say, you focus on this, you're good at that. You focus on that, you're good at that. I'll just keep focusing on what I'm good at. You are all helping each other out. You got to kind of think of it as like, you know, an army can accomplish a lot more than just one good street fighter. A lot of Hollywood films are about the exact opposite. It's all lies, man. And then what advice would I say that you should ignore? God. Jeez. I know that this sounds pathetic, but, and I suppose everyone would answer this, but I would say, look, the more that you can get out of the realm of self-pity, the more that you can get out of the realm of just finding excuses for yourself, and everyone does, but we're just talking about trying to remove as many of them as we possibly can. People that are constantly in the mode of self-pity are nothing but a burden on society. People that are constantly complaining, people that are constantly criticizing. If you are one of those people, you will be extremely difficult to be around. You will be draining on everybody else's, because the thing is, even though people just naturally excel at their talents, I'll tell you something that'll just destroy it very quickly. Someone that's always putting you down. Always. That will just kill any synergy in a room. Always. So what you always want to be doing is staying in your lane. You want to be staying out of that, the things that destroy relationships very quickly, which are the 3 C's: criticizing, condemning, complaining. You want to be out of those realms. I mean, you can do that with other people that you don't have to work with and bitch about, and that's really fun and stuff. But like in your area, I really think that this idea of like constructive criticism, people kind of just auto-correct by themselves if you just give them the breathing space. You know? I think that that's actually something that's very, very important. I think that the more that you can sit there and kind of celebrate the wins together and say, you know, instead of just complaining and all that kind of stuff, you're always just like, let's just focus on this instead. And you move towards that. It helps. Number 9. In the last 5 years, what have you become better at saying no to? What new realizations and or approaches have you helped? Any other tips? Yes, I'll tell you what I've said no to a lot recently in the last 5 years. But I think that this is just because now I'm just so set. This is the whole thing. By the time that you're 30, really, isn't this a good piece of advice? Let's just do a recap. In your 20s, you're supposed to be exploring. In your 30s, you're supposed to realize, I'm good at this. This is my path in life. And all you can really do at that point is just veto. I think that there was a lot of times when people would say things like, oh, you should go and do a corporate stand-up gig, or go, you know, do a stand-up gig for this organization, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And then I go do it, and then I bomb because it wasn't my tribe that I was talking to. That's the whole thing that's great about stand-up comedy. It's kind of just there, you're talking to people that get your message, that want to listen to your message, and then you all have a good time together. But when you were just sitting there and you were just like, yeah, just go do this and do it out of your comfort zone and stuff. Like, there is a time when you're supposed to be going out of your comfort zone. But I think that this idea of just going out of your comfort zone for the sake of going out of your comfort zone, you will learn things out of it. You definitely will. But you should be focusing on where the comfort zone is in terms of what is on your natural trajectory. Yeah? So I think that what really helped me out a lot was realizing, yeah, I'm done with just, you know, wantonly embarrassing myself. Still do, a lot. But I think that it was always just this thing of like, here's an opportunity, try it, just to go out of your comfort zone. After a while, I was just like, nah, I'll be selective about where I want to go out of my comfort zone. I think that that was actually a really big thing. Because the other thing is as well, and this used to happen a lot, you think, oh, okay, now I need to come up with a completely different act, because usually it's just like if you've ever been to one of my stand-up shows, it's basically just an hour-long lecture. And instead of that, just being like, give me your take 3. And I don't have a take 3. And so I just try and condense something, put it together, and just be like, and then boom. You know? I think that that's a lot of it, is just like saying no to opportunities where you realize, nah, there's no real gain in it. 10, when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, or have lost focus temporarily, what do you do? And what do you ask yourself? First one, obviously, I do, is meditate. But the other one that I think really works well, and it was actually Callum from Michael West, because he's really into self-help as well. But he was just saying this, and doesn't it work a treat? Just do this. Isn't this an amazing piece of advice? When you're just on the internet and you're getting into the, what's next? When you're getting into that stage, just stare up at the ceiling. And you'll realize that just staring up at the ceiling, you are way happier than whatever comes on your screen next. And with that, I've realized that, Greg, you fucking idiot, you only gave me 10 questions. It was supposed to be 11. I take it back. This is the worst. You've embarrassed me. Nah, but anyway, thank you so much for doing it, man. Like, that was very nice of you to ask me that. And I hope that you gained something from it. And if you didn't gain something from it, you'll gain something if you sign up like Greg to Jordan Shanks. Trust me. Sign up. The link's at the bottom.